Hi hence and welcome to my 67th video. It is yet another autumn which brings with it a somewhat of a depressing season and mood, not just to the weather outside, but also to BDO. So I thought it would be a good idea to spread some positivity and some of my secrets and ways in which I have fun in BDO even after all of these hours. Now, I am sure I'm not the first person to come up with this idea. You have undoubtedly heard things like it's a marathon, not a sprint, or other such sentiments telling you to not be efficient in the game and just have fun. And I myself have made a video about efficiency specifically quite a long time ago, so you can go ahead and watch that as well if you want. However, often this statement ends right there, which makes it feel more like this live, laugh, love sign your auntie has on a wall in her kitchen, and less like something tangible that you can actually follow in your BDO journey to make it more fun for yourself. You can absolutely use a lot of what I will be talking about outside of just BDO, because burnout is not specific to just this game, and the idea of video games specifically not being as fun anymore is also something that is very common on the internet for various reasons that people attribute to it. With that out of the way, the first and the most important step is more of a general rule to follow. And that is that you should always focus on the things that you can control and accept the things that you cannot. Yes, we are borrowing the teachings of Stoicism to apply on a video game. This wouldn't be a video essay if I wasn't at least a little pretentious. Video has flaws. It is far from a perfect game. We all know that. Trust me, this is hardly a controversial statement. You are not breaking any new ground by saying that BDO needs more group content or that time gating is bad or what have you. Constantly complaining will not change anything in the game and absolutely will not make you enjoy your time playing more. In fact, it will only lead to more frustration and anger down the line because you will always feel like you are not being heard. So, rather than focusing on the things beyond your control, focus on what you can do that will lead to a positive outcome right now. Yes, for some of you that might mean playing another game, and that's absolutely fine. But if your problem is less severe than the game direction being something that you do not particularly enjoy, chances are that there are things that you can do to fix this problem yourself. In other words, be the change that you want to see. And if the change is not possible, accept it as the reality and just do your own thing. And just to clarify, this isn't some form of toxic positivity where we all hold hands and sing Kumbaya and pretend the game is a 10 out of 10 best game ever made. And you should quit if you don't like any major or minor part of BDO. This is simply taking a step back and realizing that some things will never change and moving on from there. The other big issue to tackle for most people, I'd say, is efficiency. Just like in the last segment, let's look inwards to what we can change on a personal level. The reason games, and especially MMOs nowadays, feel like a job is mostly because we treat them as jobs. Think about it. How many times did you do something you didn't really want to do simply because the reward was too good to pass up? How many hours did you spend grinding a spot you didn't like simply because it was the best silver per hour? How many boring classes you tagged just because some tier list put it into S tier? The sooner you realize that efficiency starts with you, the easier it will be for you to have more fun in the game. Now, the best thing to do here would be to ignore efficiency entirely. So, not track anything, never open garmov.com, never look up any of these tier lists, never watch any videos telling you about which spot is the best, etc. However, I do think that this is a little bit naive and idealistic. So here's a different way to look at it. A lot of the time, people come to efficiency by comparing what they are doing with what they could be doing instead. Like, why grind Dekia Sulfur if LVA Hex gives you more money? Why bother with life skills if grinding is better? And so on. Here is the trick I use. Compare it to doing nothing. Life skills are always better than nothing. Dekia Sulfur will always make you more money than not grinding at all. Now, why should you compare it this way? Because there's a reason you wanted to grind a given spot or wanted to do a specific activity. And chances are that you would not have grinded Hex or done the other thing anyway, because if you wanted to grind Hex instead of Sulfur, you would have been grinding Hex already, and this idea would have never popped inside your head in the first place. There is no reason to compare your actual time spent to something that is purely hypothetical, because reality would be you AFK fishing in Velia playing Blue Protocol. The other thing goes potentially even deeper, and this is something that you have absolutely heard before. If you grind a spot you like or play a class you enjoy, you will have more fun in the game, but it doesn't end there. Having more fun will make you want to play the game more, which will in turn mean more silver in the long run. Think about it. A single hour at Hex is always going to be worse than 2 hours at Dekia Silver, so efficiency and fun here kind of go hand in hand. And just so we are clear, this isn't just for people who have a lot of time on their hands either. If you are someone whose time is limited and can only play a little bit here and there, this applies to you as well. If you spend your very limited free time doing something you dislike, you will do it once, maybe a couple of times. But not only will you have to overcome yourself every time you want to do this, the dislike will stack up and it will become harder and harder to log into the game with each passing day until you eventually go do something else instead. And this works in the other direction as well. If you enjoy BDO more than the other things that you are doing in your free time, then chances are that you will play BDO more, therefore you will progress faster simply because you are having more fun. Okay, there is one more trick that I personally use when it comes to combating efficiency, or at least the feeling that I need to be efficient, and that is using efficiency against itself. In practice, this means setting up goals that are not just centered around silver or gear. For me, as some of you probably already know, I have 2 goals for BDO. One of them is to make 1 million of every meal in the game without buying the ingredients on the center market, which you might know as the Iron Pen Challenge. But I also have another goal, and that is to get 1 million trash loot from every spot, starting Medea and going upwards. Now, I would never in good conscience recommend anyone to set goals this massive and this ambitious, but you can come up with your own ideas. For a lot of people, this is going to be something as simple as just getting the treasure items. For others, this is getting a specific number of trash from spots they enjoy, or testing their limits to see how much trash they can get in a single hour on a single spot. This isn't limited to just grinding or PvE either, whether it's reaching specific level in life skills, getting top 20 in your class in AOS, or even doing all the quests in the game. Just find whatever you enjoy doing and try to do that as much as possible. This goes the other way too. Don't feel bad about not doing things that you don't like. For me, I really couldn't care less for Boss Blitz, so I just don't do it. No matter how many times people in chat tell me how good money it is, I just don't care. I don't enjoy sniper hunting that much either, so even though it would probably really help me in my Iron Pen journey to get the 1 million of every meal, I just don't do it that much. There is nothing in this game that you have to do. Even things that people tell you that you should do because they are super important and you should absolutely never skip, ultimately are not important, and nothing will ever happen if you just happen to miss it. Like, honestly, do you think the sky will fall down if you don't kill the Jordan Edania boss this week simply because you don't feel like it or you don't have the time to do it? No. So if you really don't feel like doing it, don't do it. Which brings me to the next point, and that is comparison. Although this time it is not the comparison that we talked about when it came to efficiency, but in terms of comparing yourself to other people. Comparison absolutely is the thief of joy. And you are especially setting yourself up for failure if you compare yourself as a new player or even a returning player to a veteran streamer who can play this game as a job and often also spends tons of money on progression. Make no mistake, BDO is not a competition. You don't win anything for being first to a grind spot or by reaching a higher gear score faster than others. All you are getting is no content for the foreseeable future, as everyone has to catch up to you anyways before new expansions or grind spots gets released. This goes doubly even triply so for a game like BDO, where all the content in the game will be available to you in the future anyway, because it is all largely single player and it will be basically the same as it is today, so you are not missing out on anything by being a bit late to the party, like you may actually do in a game like World of Warcraft or FF14 if you are not there when the raid tier is current content. Alright, now that I have basically exhausted all the ways to think about the game and the mindset that will hopefully make you enjoy the game more, I will also mention tangible ways on increasing your enjoyment on an hourly basis. The first one is something that I have been alluding to a bit already. Diversify your time spent in the game. As humans, we love learning new things, and boredom often stems from doing the same thing over and over again. BDO is a sandbox MMO and it has at this point over 10 years worth of content, so it would be a shame to ignore 95% of it for no reason other than your incessant chase for efficiency. If you haven't already, try life skills. Enjoy the new AOS ranked season, even if you have not done that much PvP before. Take your time to explore the world, and more than anything, do what feels like it could be fun. Even if it turns out to be the opposite, you at least now know and have tried it and maybe beat boredom for at least that time. I do this every single day on my stream and even off stream. One of the big reasons why I was always getting bored with the game was because I was always grinding only one spot on a single class forever. At this point in any given stream I can gather, hunt, active fish, grind at almost any grind spot in the entire game, AOS, fight people on Arsha, or just cook and talk to chat. And it is this thing alone that basically made sure I would never burn out from the game, ever. One thing I should also add is that diversification isn't just in terms of inside of the game. One of the best things to cure burnout is simply taking a break from the game. Doesn't matter if it's a couple days, couple weeks, or a couple of months. BDO has this eternal pull on people that will make you eventually want to come back and play it. And when that time comes, chances are you will have more new things to explore and do, and you will have more fun as a result. Now, if you want actual suggestions I have used myself in the past to diversify my gameplay, the one I would recommend the most is the Wheel of Pain. Now, that name is a bit frightening, but you can put only spots and activities you enjoy and spend it every hour or so. This was probably my turning point, pun intended, in enjoying grinding way more than I have ever done before. So I absolutely 100% recommend this. Other things I have done in the past were quest related, for example doing all the daily quests in a region to collect the quest rewards from there, or actually reading through the quest lines led to the morning light. For life skills, it was trying out spots that I didn't even know existed and just exploring the world of possibilities that the life skills offer, like trying every activity that gives you red meat or herbs or what have you. I'm sure you can come up with more things as well that suit your preferences, such as trying new classes, doing different combination of activities, or maybe even PvP related content. Some of this might sound a bit intimidating, but I could have explained all of this away with just doing what you feel like doing, not what you feel like you should be doing. I think it is crucial to understand that the main culprit behind your lack of enjoyment of BDO, or any game for that matter, more often than not, is you. The other big suggestion is also related to something I already mentioned in the video, and that is the setting of goals, because I think it's important that you set them properly. Like I mentioned already, don't just set a goal of getting XYZ gear score or XYZ silver, as this should always be a secondary thing and it will always happen over time anyway, because no matter what you do in the game, you should be getting silver for it. What I would recommend is setting 3 types of goals. You have the 1 or 2 long-term major goals. This could be reaching Guru 15 all life skills, collecting all the treasure items, getting a certain number of trash either per hour or total, completing every quest in the game, and so on. These should always be the ultimate end goals for you, but if you just start with them and go from there, it might not be good enough and you might actually just end up burning out anyway because it will be so far away. So to avoid this, we should segment these big goals into smaller and medium-term goals that you can swap between. This would be, for example, instead of going for all Guru 50 in all life skills, you just go for one at a time, or one grind spot with the treasure item at a time, or a single region for the quests at a time. These medium-term goals should be viewed as checkpoints to get you to the ultimate destination, even if these checkpoints on their own still take a decent amount of time. The last type of goal that you should set is a short-term one. Something that you can realistically finish within a week or maybe a couple weeks. Something that will make you feel like you are working towards the goal in the present. Using the same ideas, this would be reaching Guru 1 in a single life skill, or getting 100,000 trash loot, or just finishing a quest line. Something relatively simple and easy that will keep you going, and you can swap between this and change on a week-to-week basis. To show how this works in practice, my ultimate goal is to have 1 million of every single meal without the use of the center market. So logically, the medium term is going to be focused on a single meal, so getting 1 million Valencia meals, then 1 million Belenos meals, and so on. And the short-term goal is going to be something very simple, like using up all my energy, or finishing a single ingredient for a given meal. For the trash loot goal, million of every trash loot is once again split into each grind spot, and then for the short-term goals, I split them up either into ways that they make sense. For example, I made a Dekia video recently, so that was my short-term goal, to make that video and grind those amount of hours, but it can also be something again simple, like using agris at a spot, or working towards an item that drops at a given spot. For example, for me it's the Cactunax, because I planned on grinding Orbita soon, and I know that I will be losing a lot of crystals, so going to Blood Wolves to get a supply of Cactunax so that way I can replace all the broken Macalots is a good short-term goal for me. The important part to mention here is also that you should be taking breaks from these goals. Not all of your gameplay should be focused on them. As you can tell from the background footage in this video, I am currently playing a lot of AOS, even though it is not outlined on any of my goals. This is simply because I found AOS to be extremely fun and addictive, so I just do it over everything else. Every now and then I also come up with something super stupid, like making 1 billion silver with nothing but barehanded gathering, or completing every daily quest in a day, or just finding out how good hotspot fishing is these days. And it is because of these reset days that I have for myself that I can then focus back on the goals I have set up for myself after I am done frolicking around in the game. But there is one more thing that you can do to enjoy the game more, and this might be a bit controversial, so stay with me here. Do not consume and engage in negativity on social media. You probably already know that I'm talking about doom posters, although I want to include more than just the usual suspects you may think of when you hear that word. So things like Reddit and other social media sites full of jaded people who want something that they themselves probably know they will never get. Now, just like with BDO not being perfect, there is nothing anyone can do about these people. They are allowed to express their opinions, but in the same token, you are allowed to not give them attention. Watching their videos won't do anything for your enjoyment of the game. The person who made it will probably never read your comment, and even if they did, you will never change their mind. So all that is going to happen is that they will rub off that negativity on you. Make no mistake, the worst thing you can do to these doom posters is ignore them. Don't engage with that guy rage baiting in chat saying BDO is pay to win, or BDO dead, or BDO is just an AFK fishing simulator or whatnot. Don't try to reason with these people, don't watch their videos, don't even bother hating on them. Just move on with your life and do something that will make you enjoy the game and probably even your life more. And yeah, those are all the major things I do to make BDO as fun as possible for me. And it's something I will continue to uphold until the game is no more. I hope you found this video helpful in some way, handsome. Do let me know if you have any other ways to have fun in the game yourself, or if you tried some of what I have outlined here today. Remember to like and subscribe, and enjoy your grind.